This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Through bribery, members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. Alafu you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Hello and good morning. Am I hearing myself or like what's going on? Okay, yeah, I'm hearing myself. Dennis Aseto, good morning.
Niaje?
Poa sana.
Freshi?
Mimi niko poa.
Good to see you this Monday.
Ooh, things are falling apart.
It is Monday the 27th, eh?
It's Monday the 27th of April.
Yeah.
And wewe uko salama?
And
nimerudi kutoka Kisumu.
I was Kisumu.
Kisumu. Ukuona? Haukuona vile Kisumu ilikuwa?
Niambie.
Ilikuwa na watu wengi.
Tulifika. Tukazungumza na wananchi.
Yes.
Na tukasema tunataka tupigiwe kura kwa sababu mimi ndiyo presidential candidate.
And then mchukua kura bana.
Ndio mchukua kura.
Yeah.
Kura ni moja.
It's necessary.
Yeah. Uko kadi? Osido is not kadi. Osido, are you kadi? Please text us and tell us.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Last time we were here, we asked. He said, alienda kaangalia. The first time alikuwa kadi. The second time he went back, hakukuwa kadi. So he had to go confirm that indeed he was kadi. So I'm just following up.
This is your follow-up mechanism.
Yes.
Tumeelewa.
Osido, good morning. Kevin Osido.
I see you've called it.
County Governance Watch. Please, uko kadi.
County Governance Watch. Kwanza hapo kwa your title, we're not leaving that behind.
Executive Director. Let's just add that, yes. How are you?
Nico Salama.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How was your weekend?
My weekend?
Yeah.
My weekend, we started Friday. We had that thing. I went to Joe Kamanya's thingy. From there, we went out with the girls. It was beautiful.
That's nice.
We went out with the girls. We spent quite a lot of time together. Sing Nairobi, Gashie, Ruaka. Yes, we came back to the office almost 9 p.m. I think.
Allah.
Yeah, we came back here.
Outing like that.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It was beautiful.
Why don't you now? You see, I told you that I was.
Now imagine.
Till a certain now. Ungetoa hizi. Wait. Let me Kiswahili the thing.
Yeah.
Mungetoa hii uzito kwa roho yangu.
Sijali. Tumepanga. Nyingine,
Aye.
we shall include you.
Tawa basi.
But it was beautiful.
That's
I
good.
mean, it's when you have good company. So Lydia, Evelyn, and JB, aka Joylin Barasa. Yes, it was beautiful.
It was. One would take that literally and otherwise. But we keep it moving regardless.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I'm glad that started off your weekend for you.
Yeah.
And getting into spirits this morning. Hope you're doing okay, everybody. And EVE is, you know how, I keep saying, you know how, so you read the story of Pinocchio.
Yeah.
It's a children's story. But there was a character in the story who's Jiminy Cricket. Jiminy Cricket was Pinocchio's conscience. And so every time Pinocchio was off to do something crazy, Jiminy Cricket would essentially be on his shoulder saying, excuse me, this is not what you were supposed to do.
Because
and
he
remember,
knows.
yeah, he knew. And you know, you want to be a real boy at some point. So Evie is my Jiminy Cricket. This is not a size ideology, even though he was tiny. I'm not comparing. It's the principle behind the thing that we're talking about here. But it's a good thing. This is Jiminy Cricket that I'm talking about.
It's a good thing.
I've given her many names. So Jiminy is yet just another one. We are on the 27th of April, and this is the last Monday of the Situation Room in April.
The last week too?
This is the last week of the Situation Room in April, and we're coming to the end of the month. I just wanted to say, and say it out loud, just in case anybody was unsure, that we're getting into May in 4 days.
Yep.
May is a beckoning.
Yeah, so as we speak, I think civil servants have been paid, bankers have been paid because they have to process salaries, so they have to be paid early. Yeah, so then we are into the week where then the rest of the country as well, people will get paid. So yeah, good thing.
Okay. I'm reading this book
Yes.
by Lola Shonein. It's called The Secret Lives of Baba Shegi's Wives. And there's one quote that really got me.
Yeah.
And it may seem like it was just talking about cassava shoots, but do with it as you will. And I just thought to share that today. The truth was that the rains had punished the village of Borode by refusing to fall, and the sun had dealt mercilessly with the cassava shoots. Instead of standing high and cooling the soil with their broad green leaves, they stooped and coiled until they were toasted like brittles. The ground hardened and split from the heat, forcing anxious villagers to journey to the forest in search of water to moisten the soil. Even my father, with his bent back, followed the trail of water fetchers. He got on his knees and scooped sand until his fingers touched water. I was frustrated too. No water meant no weeds. Since the sun denied me my joy that year, I hid under the pile of mats at home, as far away from its wrath as possible. It was only when I heard the wind carrying voices home from the forest path that I abandoned my hiding place to help them ease calabashes off their heads. My father's wife sneered at my helplessness, and my mother hid her face behind her wrapper. There's just so many things happening in that one phrase alone. You'd have to read the rest of you'd have to read the before and the after to kind of understand it more. But I mean, just imagining how many things were happening at the same time. The rain refused to fall. There were things that you needed to do regardless. The sun was harsh, but that you had to live under it anyway. And that, those would laugh at your misfortune. But you realize that even through that, you still had to keep going. My goodness, Lola Shonein was writing some interesting, heavy messages in this book. You should actually read. Anyway, it goes on.
Yeah.
And even as I say that, you guys have been asking for her and asking for her and asking for her and asking her and asking us where she is. So, it's like Father Christmas. Wajiro Kekonyo is here. Good morning, Wajiro.
Oh, wow. Father Christmas, I feel very, very welcomed.
How are you? Good morning.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Yes, it's always a very long haul to come at this time. And then I always feel it was the best decision I made for the week.
Oh, wow.
Happy to be here.
There you go.
Karibu.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Thank you. very
Karibu
much.
sana.
Asante.
We know you've been up to a lot.
Well, enough. Up to enough.
Up to enough.
Yes.
And all good things and no mischief, of course. That's the one we can definitely say, of course, about.
I do my best.
And with that, even as we welcome Wajiro Kekonyo, and you know that everybody's in the house this morning, let's tell you what we'll be talking about today. All right? And yes, in case you're wondering, our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. And our audience on KTN this morning, Karibu Sana, thank you for being here this morning. We'll say hello to you in a quick minute, but let me tell you what our conversations will wrap around this morning. At 7 o'clock, we're going to be talking about the state of the economy. Irongo Nyakera is a former PS planning, and we're talking about raising the debt ceiling and the debt strategy and the IMF, that these three things are playing in one space together. So we'll talk with him and we'll really look into the details. What does it mean to have an economy that's sustainable? What does it mean when the IMF and the World Bank are asking you to do certain things? What does it mean when you say no? What does it mean when you stand on your own developmentally? We'll talk about the state of the economy with Irongo at 7. And then at 7 o'clock, another Irongo, but this Irongo will be Houghton. He's the executive director of Amnesty International Kenya. He will be in the company of Faith Kisinga Gitonga, who is an advisor enabling environment for non-profit organizations. The PBO deadline, you're asking, what is that? Well, we'll get into it. What next for the National Civil Society? And that we've heard so many things, right? Civil society, evil society, paid for activism, paid for pushing certain agenda. But what does it actually mean when you have folks who are fighting to ensure that certain things actually happen on the national agenda? We'll talk about that at 8 o'clock. And then it's Monday. So, dear Mr. President has our ear, and we're going to be looking at government spending. It's still quite high up there, and it's a plea. slow down on the expenditure so that you can have some money for, guess what? Children are going back to school tomorrow. Just one of those things. Or the big hole that there is in Shah at the moment, and you maybe want to do something about that. Okay, so that's the conversation that we'll have at 9 o'clock. This is what it looks like through the day, guys. So tagging in with us. Let's talk about these things. This is how to be part. Everybody says, well, what can I do, my little? You need to be part of conversations that are moving things forward, and that's what we do right here. All right. Mr. Seto, where are you taking us this week?
Equatorial Guinea.
Equatorial Guinea.
Yes, the only Spanish-speaking country in the continent. You know, they also speak French and Portuguese as well, right? And it has two capital cities. So the main capital is Malabo in Bioko Island, and they have that is administrative capital that is under construction, and it's oil, and that helps the country in terms of boosting its GDP in the 1990s. But let's go to the proverb. When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear wind.
Yeah. I remember talking about Jiminy Cricket. She said something like, she talked to you, didn't she?
How do you interpret it?
Well, I mean, just imagine. I was privileged once to be where there were several palm trees, and the wind that was blowing at that particular time was heavy. I mean, it was crazy, and we would see trees that would bend to have their leaves almost touching the ground, but they never got uprooted. So you can imagine in that season where life is going to beat you up, as you know, as it can even at the moment, or that situations will come that will toss and turn you. But if you're grounded, if you're rooted, depending on what your foundation is, the likelihood of it removing you from your source then is slim.
Yeah. 1-0. How would you interpret it?
Yes. You know, for me, I have to take a political slant.
Yeah.
Because Equatorial Guinea also has Africa's longest-serving leader, who in power since 1979. And that's longer than all the Gen Zs who are on the streets.
The streets today.
Yes.
Yeah.
He seized control in a bloody military coup, and he leads the Democratic Party of Equatorial Guinea. So, no doubt, deep roots, that proverb cuts both ways.
Applies to him, yeah.
Right. So you can have deep roots in state and hold on to power. And I think Kenyans are working very hard to make sure that doesn't happen in Kenya. We want democratically accountable processes and not manufactured processes.
Well said.
Well said.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that Ontario would go in that direction. What do you think?
I look at it in terms of when you're well-grounded, you know, there is resilience that comes with it, that you might come through difficult times, but if you know exactly where you're from and you know what is pushing you there, everything will come and pass.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket, again, is literally in my ear. All right, let's say a quick good morning to you guys as we get into it today. Kiaria Peter's tuning from Mombasa today, and sometimes you have to keep your good news to yourself. Not everyone is genuinely happy for you. Peter, on what have you woken up this morning? Robert Tabogo is tuning this morning and says, great week ahead, tuning from Mombasa. Humphrey Mushoga says, good morning, Spice family. Good morning to you. Good morning, Spice. Watching from Atiak in Uganda is Hisa Daniel. And good morning, Team Spice. Last week of April, where is 2026 running to? That's a good question. Before you know it, will be in the middle of the year. Punde si punde, it will be Aseto's birthday. Anyway, a lovely week all. This is Fiery Red. So soon we're going to be saying happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas on the same day. Mashari Anjeru says, good morning, Team Spice. Watching from Portland in Oregon. Ruto has refused to be the adult in the room. He should know that Rigiji has nothing to lose. Okay. Well, you know what they say. If you do the roll around with a pig, you decide. Leo says, good morning. Hello to you, Nduana Seto, Princess. Good morning. So Trump decided to assassinate himself again after failing miserably in Iran. Oh, my goodness. Which African nation is Trump from? Mimi Ndio Sifuna went to Kisumu and no violence by goons. I know. It's like a surprise. Can you imagine if you would allow people to protest peacefully and you did not include goons and or police and you just stood and watched?
You didn't show up with your water cannons.
I mean.
And your batons.
It's phenomenal, the things that can happen.
I know.
Good morning.
So who's the actual goon, though?
Who's the head goon in charge?
It's not Mwananchi. We know who is. Prefect of goons.
Wow. I don't know if that's a position you want to aspire to, but okay. Bernard Nyaberry says, good morning, Spice. Tuning in, starting to sell oil by the end of the year. That's what it looks like. What a paradox. We're importing oil and you're telling us of starting to export from December. You're importing oil. This is the thing. If you're going to actually go with the Dangote deal, which he wants to look into see how you can set up a refinery here. I mean, the man has done it already. He's proven that he can. And if he's going to set it up here, it's very possible that you could start to export oil as Kenya by the end of the year.
True.
If you're going to follow along with what he's saying and what they can do together. That it took something like this for Africans to start to have a conversation with each other about how development can happen on the continent with each other. Maybe it's good. That had to happen.
It's good, yeah, it's good.
I think so.
Yes.
That it had to happen.
Yes.
That's
that
okay.
Trump's belligerence is bringing something good to bear.
Yeah.
Something that you've pushed for a very long time. Finally, you're being heard,
Even if this is how it's going to start, and it will be as an example as to, okay, we can actually sell amongst ourselves this commodity that the world is going crazy over. We can do it amongst ourselves.
Because we have it.
Yeah. Who knows what could happen next? And it could be possible to fly from Nairobi to Dar es Salaam for just $100. You can probably do that in the very near future because you then are able to see the benefits of working together.
True.
Then the Nigerian government, president can stop talking badly about Kenyans.
And then also the Kenyan government can stop talking badly about Nigerians.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now we've
Now
got
we
this.
can,
This is working. And it also applies to pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because the cost of medicine is based on that lack of cooperation, and this is the way we need to go. Otherwise, the African Trade Agreement is just another document on paper.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
But
Anyway.
it's the interests around this. It's really the interest around this, because what happens, it's the goons, the head goons and their assistants who then position themselves to ensure whatever deal is cut,
They are part of it.
they are part of that back end.
Yeah, because the G2G, like I said last week, was not G2G, it was
Nope.
G2Me.
G2Me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what has happened is because of this inbuilt costs, the cost of production then becomes too high. Then the cost of using the cost of energy, the cost of electricity is too high in Kenya.
Yep.
It then means everything we produce is
Expensive.
Is expensive.
Yes.
We are then uncompetitive. We are not able to export.
Yeah.
And that's why our manufacturing sector is in decline. So that is the big question.
It is.
How to curb that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm
Has to
not
be
sure
dealt
it's
with.
getting discussed on the campaign trails.
No.
I am sure it's not.
Actually, why are we in campaign mode? Why
Yeah,
are we in campaign mode?
Yeah.
Constitutionally, there's a restriction on campaigning between outside of the elections period.
And they will tell you the president has to meet his people.
He has to?
Meet his people.
Right.
He is not campaigning.
Yes. And then we've got this body called the NCIC that actually doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
They don't have commissioners. They're looking for them. That's what they'll tell you.
They don't, more excuses, eh?
Yeah,
Right.
over and over.
Right.
I mean, the Constitution also says that if you borrow, it should be for development.
Yeah.
But then you borrow, and then what did you develop? So, I mean, what are we talking about? Breaking of the law over and over and over again?
Right.
What's to stop people from campaigning before it's time?
Yeah.
Right.
If you can even kill people.
The law is a
It's
suggestion.
true. It's
You know?
become ingrained. Eh?
Yeah.
It is, unfortunately.
Right.
All right. I know. Okay, this is how we've started.
I know.
But she's already shaking her head. It's not even 6:30.
I am like, Ndu, why did you bring me here? I'm looking for good news, please. We're going to get a refinery. That's good news.
Okay, let's stick on that. Refinery is coming by the end of the year. Catherine Yambura says, good morning. Mrs. Ndu Deseto. Ndu, do you think the government is serious about sorting out the teachers' medical care?
No.
Yikes, please don't go there, because we only have 4 hours on this show. Where are we going to go? How are we going to talk about it? Catherine, the answer is no.
No.
We don't even need to explain beyond that. Prince says, good morning to Spice family. Kisumu rally was a success na ground iko tayari. Kufanya nini? Roy Sambu locked in. Erica War says, good morning. Julius Opan says, good morning. Good people, it's a new week. Tuned in this morning. It was an eventful weekend. Linda Mwananchi landed in Kisumu with force. I hope the opposers will account to their master why it happened. I hope that all the people who were there to watch this wave will register to vote and vote.
True.
That's a big thing.
Yes, I pray that will be the result of that. Christina says, Charage said Sifuna is man enough why the Kisumu wakaende. Sindio? Yeah, he went. Yes, it's true. Christina, good morning to you. Vena Harwenji says, good morning, tuning from Kuwait. Yesterday, followed up yesterday's Linda Mwananchi rally in Kisumu. And you're saying that one term is inevitable. We know... you're saying you know where the real power is? Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Blessed week ahead to you.
Alluding to the people?
The power is in the people, essentially.
Yes.
Yes.
If they register.
If they register and vote. Right. Otherwise, it's just another gathering.
And if they register and vote, and if the opposition can get its act together. Because this is it's similar to 1997 when the IPPG reforms had been enacted and of course multi-party democracy had been reintroduced and the opposition remained fragmented because of this, the interest of the political leaders. Yeah. And Moi walked over that election. And then there was violence. There was also a lot of violence in 1997 election. So, Ruto, who's a student of Moi and is employing the exact same tactics, is probably calculating that all he needs to do is destabilize and make sure these opposition leaders remain in competition.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
And he's going to walk over. And then also the local level. All politics is local. And one thing you have to say about William Ruto, UDA, they are very aggressive at the very local level. So register, but also that very strong local penetration, voice to, person to person, household to household, explaining that the choices you have made are bearing on you and you need to make better choices.
And see the connect.
And you need good local leaders.
I think the toughest question here is, if you look at both the divides, who exactly is speaking Mwananchi's language, whether it's opposition, whether it's government, who is pro-people and looking at changing the lives of Mwananchi? Because Mwananchi is saying, can't see.
Yes, can't see, but Mwananchi also, let me not even say Mwananchi, because we have overlooked our local governance. We talk about one term, and forget that we have county governments that are like, our Nairobi county, we can see in the headlines every week with a new outrageous scandal. How does that happen? Because we don't pay attention to this very, very important seat of the MCA.
Very true.
And so we are so preoccupied with one term, we forget we also have, and MCA's turnover. Those MCAs actually, I think the turnover is like 85%.
85%, yes.
Attrition. So they're going to go anyway. But the havoc they'll have wreaked because we didn't pay attention. So let's not get discouraged. Let's get organized.
Yep. Let me go through greeting you guys really quick here because I just want to notice that you're here for sure and take note of your presence. Boaz Nalianya says, good morning. Traveling from Bungoma to Kitale, but tuned in. Kama Kawaida, thank you so much. Karibu Sana. Daniel Churu is tuned in this morning. My awesome friend, Spice FM. Dear Undu, what do you call a situation where you love and adore someone so much, but they're admirable for their admirable character, but they don't know that? Tell them. There's a man in Nigeria, his name is Chike, he's an artist. And one of the songs he sang that I love so much, tell them. Just tell them, and then you can have peace in your heart. You have nothing to lose. Just be brave.
Be brave.
Yes.
Tell them and insist.
Exactly. You have nothing to lose.
Same kutoke.
Bas. Jennifer Tenny says, good morning. Tuned in. It's a new week. We're optimistic. Saying for the week, if you're not invited to the table, break the table. Kabisa. Nyakundi Emmanuel says, Shah is a scam. Ooh, good morning, my favorite team. Kisumu was awesome and Shah is a scam. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Okay. Boangi Juma says, good morning.
That's a scam. Wrong adage. Wrong example.
How are you all this morning? From Mombasa to Kisumu, Transoya, indeed, everybody is having sleepless nights. Oh, somebody. Why? Jose Kimonge says, good morning. Tuned in from Ibencho and there's rain. Yeah, it's raining all over. We're told that guy is coming. That little boy is coming back. El Nino in May. Vintage says, good morning. United as Kenyans determined to get our country back. That's great. Ask, where is Don Sabor? Welcome, Wanjiro, says Peter Kiarie.
Thank you.
That's a good question. Where is Don Sabor? Dave Mangera says, good morning. Tuned into the Situation Room. Back to school, Manenos. I'm telling you, my head is already breaking. Young Jedi says, good morning. Ndu Deno, greetings. And Mapenzi Mob from Thika. Things are heating up nicely before 70 days to go to D-Day. Mutuflani says, Aseto, you're in Great company, Leo. Warembo, I'll see you.
Niko sawa. I'm not complaining.
You're not complaining at all. Thank you, Spice FM. Up next. Kabisa, we're taking it. Wow, Wajiro Gekonyo, nice. True North, thank you. Nice to see you back at Spice.
Thank you.
Karibu Sana.
Thank you.
The Real SC says, good morning, 1:59:30. That by Sarah was an amazing race. And he said, just with my Adidas.
Yeah.
He said, just with my Adidas. If Adidas needed a
campaign.
A campaign,
An ambassador.
they got it.
Wamlipe.
They got
You
it
know?
nicely.
Yeah.
They got it nicely. So that was a great thing to see. Vintage Oak, good morning. Alicia Morano says, good morning. Thank you so much. Rosanna Emily's tuned in this morning. Karibu, Karibu. And Enoch says, good morning. Tuning from India. Namaste. Namasakra. Good morning to you. Sam is tuned in. And you said, where appear Nisifuna? Okay. What is the village gossip about, SC? Let's keep it positive, shall we? Madly African says, good morning. Yay, Wajiro Gikonyo is here. Thank you so much. Karibu Sana. Linda Gola, bonjour, mes amis. So good to see Wajiro, and she should explain where she has been. We'll give you an opportunity to do that. Thomas Osoro says, good morning. Good to see you. Linda Mwananchi is the way to go. Robert Mayuro says, good morning to you from Eldoret. Hello, good morning, fam. How long is the voter registration activity? I think you have until the 28th of April. It's a very short period of time, guys. That's tomorrow. Okay. Oyamo says, good morning. A lovely week to you all, says Drift Session. And thank you, everybody, for being here with us. We're going to look into the papers. And so anybody who comes into the room, we've just given you a welcome. Karibu Sana, thank you for being here with us in the morning. And we don't take it for granted that you join us and be part of this conversation. You want to be here for this one this morning. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and look into the headlines. What's making the headlines? Don't go away. Good morning at 25-7.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day. This is the Situation.
Did what? Kura.
Registered.
Bas.
Kadi.
If the people in
Kadi.
that picture actually, yeah. Of course, we'll go into those conversations, but let's look quickly into the headlines on the Standard. Kitui village in shock as bandits kill 7 residents and burn property. I had to ask myself, and from a journalistic point of view, and maybe sometimes conspiratorial, I have to ask myself, because somebody said yesterday, what is it? What is it here? Until I heard the words where somebody said yesterday, and I'm sure you know who the somebody is, when they said, usijali, tutatoa watu hapa, tutaleta wanyama hapa, alafu watu wasiishi hapa tena.
Yeah.
This place has never had such an attack.
Right.
Ever,
Right.
ever. So what now? What was it about this particular area then that would make people now attack out of the blue and kill 7? Because now all of us are wondering, oh my goodness, what is it about?
We've
this?
never had.
We've never had that before.
Ever. And then suddenly there's KWS.
Yes.
And then the CS is telling you that we are going to remove the people and
bring animals.
Right. Right.
I leave it to you. We will look into the story, but I leave it to Miss World in Tanzania, a lesson for Kenya. And you're asking the question, what? Tanzania's successful bid to host Miss World points to a strategic shift in East Africa's global positioning. Critics are questioning whether poor coordination, weak government support undermine Kenya's infrastructure advantage. Everybody assumed that it would be Kenya that would host this, no matter how thin you slice it. You want to say, oh, it's just beauty queen strutting on a stage. Actually, no.
Nope.
In terms of what it does for recognition,
profile, it's
big time.
revenue.
It's revenue. It's people coming to your country. It's people who are vested. The beauty industry is $100 billion annual industry that a lot of people feed off of that, whether it's fashion, whether it's cosmetics, whether it's now looking at health and wellness, $100 billion a year. And all of these are linked to pageants like this. So the location matters.
Right.
And so if you didn't get it, you want to ask why, or if you want to ask why did Tanzania get it?
Get it, yeah. What did they do different?
Anti-Ruto fury fuels ODM party battle as factions storm Kisumu. Ruto says, I will not kiss your ring. I will not kneel to you. In my opinion, kind of acknowledging that there's a position of kneeling in the first place.
Yes.
It's already an admission.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been asked to.
Or
Yeah.
I assume that
They
there's
want
something
me
that I can,
to.
that, or I recognize your
Your position.
position.
Yeah.
since 2024, Ruto's been fighting for survival. Because in 2024, young people came out and told him to go home. And he has since then been regrouping.
Yeah.
What he was counting on was co-opting his main opposition contender, which he did. Now that there appears to be a youthful force that is tapping the imagination of the youthful generation who need to pick their voting cards to really be counted, now this is what is coming to bear. But he's still an incumbent. So it is not won. There's a lot of work that needs to happen. And despite, I think, the excitement, there's, we're still talking about regional, it's a game of numbers.
Yeah.
It's also about control over the instruments of violence and coercion.
Indeed.
And if you look at the defense budget of this government, it's been increasing every year.
Every year. True.
It exceeds health, it exceeds agriculture, because government is more interested in securing, I don't know whether it's securing its people or securing itself
It's
against
securing
its people.
something.
It's securing something.
That's for sure.
So there's a lot of strategy that needs to be laid out.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a story that should concern you on page 6. Do you know what industrial sugar is? All right. There's a concern over industrial sugar entering Kenyan kitchens. Industrial sugar should not be in your kitchen, first of all. It's not the stuff that you consume every day. The diversion of industrial sugar into homes has triggered alarm over regulatory gaps and potential contamination. Health experts warn of risks linked to impurities and heavy metals, heightening concerns over food safety. The question then becomes, how can you be sure that the sugar that you're consuming in your home actually is safe? That the checks, we shouldn't actually be told this.
True.
We shouldn't be told this.
Kebs.
Thank you. You should have done
Where are
your
you?
job.
Yes, exactly.
You should have done your job. And we shouldn't even have to be thinking about whether there's industrial sugar in the packet that I buy in my container in my pantry.
Because every time you go to a shop to buy sugar, you trust that it has gone through the processes and that the government is taking care of you.
But
it's that simple.
Guess what? Majority of Kenyans don't buy packets of sugar.
True.
So
even the one that they
yes,
Pima
it's supposed
whatever.
to be.
Yeah.
So the issue is the enforcement.
Yeah.
The issue is about the management, leadership at KEBS. It's about that regulatory framework. And I like these kind of stories because we focus a lot on various actors, but regulators in this country are a real weak point. Food safety in this country is a major concern. And that is why we are seeing possibly why we are seeing spiking cases of cancer.
We cannot run away from the connection between the rise over the last 10 years of NCDs and what we are seeing in terms of checks and balances. We cannot. Whether it's sugar, whatever is put in preservatives, whatever is a healthy insecticides that are banned in certain parts of Europe but are still allowed into Africa. The stuff that people in Europe will never put on their skin, but is put into bottles that comes here, and that they're the regulatory bodies who are very plainly not doing their job. We cannot run away from the connection between that and the spike of NCDs in the last 10 years. That people who are ordinarily healthy, then in 1 year, they deteriorate and they die from cancer. That you find cancer at stage 3. Because it didn't show up before that. There is a connection. And until we do something about it, people are going to continue to die. I'm sounding morbid this Monday, but that's the truth.
Yeah, but it's the reality that you're dealing with, because even now when you talk about industrial sugar getting into our kitchens, one must ask themselves, how did we end up there? It's because we killed our own manufacturing companies in the country who used to give us quality sugar that we used to consume. So today we find the country importing sugar that is not certified, that does not go through the relevant processes for it to enter our kitchens. So we still need to go back on how manufacturing becomes a key part of our economy in terms of discussions.
We did. And that only takes us to page 10 of the Standard. Having not looked at some of the
Is it more
stories
bad news, or is there hidden in there something to give us hope?
I'm sure you'll come up with, you'll give us a story in a bit, from the Standard. But there's more. But what I would encourage you to do is get a copy of the Standard today, get a copy of the Standard e-paper. You can do that online, and that you can have all the news in your hand, literally. Mr. Seto, the nation?
Daily Nation. So we start with why civil servants, teachers reject SHA. We're talking about teachers, civil servants, and doctors saying no to SHA with various reasons as to why they're saying that. So I'll just go through teachers saying outpatient cover has been capped at between 1,200 and 4,000, forcing cash payments. And civil servants are saying that a limited cover, including dental and optical, despite double payments in lost medical allowances and SHA deduction, is part of the reason. Doctors are saying contributors blocked from services every month on the 9th over unlimited SHA fees. So doctors who are treating you can't treat themselves using what? SHA. Sifuna Orengo's ODM camp row in Kisumu, we saw that. And Sebastian Sauer's historic marathon run in under 2 hours wins world praises. As well as gunman attacks Trump event ahead of King Charles III visit. So that's what's on the main page of the Star. Go to page 2. Russia still taking Kenyans to battlefield. We remember Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi in Russia saying that no more Kenyans will be seen in that fight. One asked the question, where are we with that? Have we repatriated Kenyans who are there, including the bodies of those who've been killed in war? Because we have diplomatic ties with both Ukraine and Russia. Where are we with that? It went cold. Now, over 380 get free treatment in Mombasa. That is due to a medical camp. And a diver who braves deadly waters to recover bodies. So he's a self-taught diver, and braves dangerous waters to recover drowning victims and bring families closure. I do this because families deserve closure. I married when I was already doing this. They have never stigmatized me. They are proud. This is an individual who one would say deserves the presidential award, OGW, HSC. He's one of those guys who should be given that. And tragedy deepens as Kenyan who lost parents dies in motorcycle accident in the US. So a Kenyan man who once made an emotional appeal for justice over the killing of his parents has died in a road accident in the United States, reopening painful memories of a tragedy that has continued to haunt his family. That is sad. On page 4 is an in-depth analysis or look into that story of SHA and why civil servants are saying no to it. And now this national news, ex-officials evading accountability. That is MP Mr. Wamboka was suspended from chairing PIC following complaint. If the man was found to be corrupt, why suspend him? Get him out of the house. Let him go home. Let him fight his battles in court.
No, but you need to read that story because it's not clear what happened. Because a report was tabled, due for adoption. I'm not sure whether it was adopted.
Adopted, yeah.
And then those cited in the report wrote to the speaker complaining that they are being extorted. 10 months after that letter was received by the speaker, the chair of the committee is then suspended. And then the chair then says that the commissioners failed to appear 3 times before Parliament. So where is the truth in this? Is it extortion? Is it that they failed to appear? But I think it exposes a couple of things. The amounts cited are huge. I think you're talking about some 200 B.
Yep.
And I'm wondering how the NCIC can afford to allocate 257 million.
Yeah.
This board, and then where did it spend that money? This is a body that we don't see, hear, or feel. That's my question. And then it's also about the brown envelope culture. Is that what the issue was? Or is this impunity from a body that has no business being in business?
Yes.
Which would be my first guess.
Yes. As it is over and over again.
Yeah.
That you just do nonsense because you've gotten away with it before or because you're going to ask yourself the question, so who's going to ask me tomorrow?
When 257 is at stake, who is passing the brown envelopes? Is it those who are implicated or the one investigating? Very murky.
Yeah.
Right.
You look at the Star.
What do you?
Right. Oh, I see. So I'll look at the headline story. GMO debate divides Kenyans as hunger bites and yields fall. So climate change is here, and it's taking a toll on farmers. We also spend a lot on chemicals, but we still suffer losses. And I'm very happy to adopt GMO. This is one of the farmers who's been cited in this. In 2022, the government lifted a ban on GMOs, but was last year halted by court. And the argument for GMOs is that persistent drought in parts of Kenya, low yields and poor earnings have reignited calls for reforms in agriculture with a focus on GMOs. GMOs, the article goes on to say that 80%, there's a high percentage, 80% of GMO use in South Africa, whereas 3.3 million are facing acute food insecurity in Kenya. 4.1b, the amount approved for drought response. Mandera, Wajir, Kwale, Kilifi counties placed under alarm phase, and 12 number of counties that are on alert, and 95% farmers in the country who depend on rain-fed agriculture, and the number of BT maize varieties, therefore number of BT maize varieties approved in 2022. Now, can I give a backstory? It's a very long story, and maybe there are some headlines that are of interest. But of course, the GMO discussion has raged around the cost of the technology, the ownership of the technology, and the argument that GMO creates a dependency. And there's a big discussion about GMO seeds and indigenous seed varieties. Yeah. There's also a discussion about the technology because Kenya, under Mwai Kibaki, produced its own GMO variety. And what the experts then said is Kenya cannot afford to import technology from outside that enriches multinationals in the States and the rest. Because there's a big cartel in GMO technology and seeds management. So the big question becomes, why is Kenya not using JQuat technology? And instead we are seeing financiers, and one of the big ones, of course, is Bill Gates coming in, financing policy and financing the solutions. So there's two discussions here. There's about the rain-fed agriculture. Is government investing in irrigation and extension farming, and that is needed to support agriculture? Or are there interests associated with getting GMO technology into Kenya so that the back end, because we already said that Kenya is about back end. Who is the back end of e-citizen? Who is the back end of government to government? Who is the back end of
GMO?
Oil refinery. Who is the back end of GMO?
Follow the
money.
Follow the money.
Yes.
That is
Follow
the problem.
the money.
That is the problem. And we need solutions to this, and I think these should be the headliners of the campaigns, because the question that you asked earlier is, are we going to get anything different? Or are the opposition, campaigners simply positioning themselves to become the new back end?
True.
It's clear that in these circles where we operate, the back end are the beneficiaries.
Yes.
The people who sit and are able to, the puppet masters, they're the ones who are the beneficiaries. And whereby it would appear as though somebody wants to come in and push the GMO conversation, they are not doing it for the benefit of the majority of the populace.
True.
It is about them and what business they will then be able to get as a result of it. They can then, and a lot of times, when you see that there is a push for a particular law to then be established, ask yourself who
is pushing
and who is behind it. Because suddenly something comes out of the blue and Parliament has discussed it and they have debated it, and then it comes out and it becomes law in no time. And then you think, okay, now because of this, we suddenly have to purchase certain things in a certain way. All right, ask yourself, when there was a push and pull for vaccination of certain cattle, and you said, okay, this is nice, they just want us to make sure that our animals are safe. No.
I was pushing it.
What was behind it? Even in this case, always ask yourself, so does it mean that you have to question everything? Unfortunately,
yes. Because we're also discussing about GMO at a time when we know government of Kenya actually made it impossible or banned farmers from having indigenous seeds as well. So there is the seed conversation. So on the other hand, GMO is coming. But behind that, farmers who've been having indigenous seeds are being asked not to use that, and it's a crime in the country. Why? Is the question.
Food sovereignty.
Yeah.
issue.
These are the questions that we ask, and I think when we look into some of these things, sometimes it takes us down the slippery slope, but we have to talk about them regardless. I just want to take a minute, actually less than a minute, to talk about Sebastian Sewe. I've said for the longest time that some of the greatest ambassadors for countries are sportsmen and those who are in and athletes and those who are in the arts. It actually is a position that is never elevated to the levels that it should be, and that we don't realize these people put nations on the map in terms of what can actually come up. That these are the things that actually, if exploitation can happen in a positive way, that you should actually push, you should actually be behind. He did a fantastic thing. And he said that all I did was run with my Adidas. And he had that picture there.
Yeah.
He did it with not in a controlled environment. He did it with all the grit that he needed. He crossed the finish line during the men's elite race at the London Marathon in Britain yesterday. And of course, everybody carrying that story in terms of what he did. His rise from cross-country to breaking the sub-2 barrier. No human being has ever done that.
It's formidable.
It's formidable. And he's from Kenya. So it's something that you need to actually take and run with it. And it's my hope that it will now start to actually bear, whereby this thing that athletes do will actually be taken seriously and not an opportunity for people to eat again. Good morning, 7 a.m.
Spice up your life. This is the situation.